to OverConsumption. I'm your host, Lynn. On today's episode, we will be discussing water. What are today's issues with it? What are the consequences? And how do we solve it? Does your household have water-efficient toilets and faucets? Is your workplace using water in its production process? If so, is it being done efficiently? Is the water distribution system properly maintained so no pollution leaks into it? The issue of water today is described perfectly by the World Water Vision Report. It says, there is a water crisis today, but the crisis is not about having too little water to satisfy our needs. It is a crisis of managing water so badly that billions of people and the environment suffer badly. The water problem of today is not about how much water we have, or that there's too little of it. It's the problem with the distribution and the managing of the water for the billion people who live on this earth. In 50 years, the population will grow 40 to 50%. This will impact the urbanization and industrialization. It will have demand for more water and will have serious consequences on the environment. Today's water usage is broken up into three categories: 70% agriculture, 20% industrialization, and 10% domestic. What will happen if we don't change our ways? We will have to build more dams. This will have negative effects on the wilderness, create more greenhouse gases, altered stream flows, and the ecological health will be degraded. Not only would it affect the environment, but it will have impacts on our wallet. Building dams are a costly solution. Maintaining other infrastructures for water supply and use. This includes costly upgrades and the maintenance of pipes. On average, 1 meter of sewer drain would cost $2,000 to install. The degradation of water bodies will become more serious consequences for our actions on water today if we don't change it. For instance, this is a replica of our Great Lakes. As you can see, it's not filled to the very top, and this is due to the fact of the extraction from the large body of water, and as well as the polluted surface runoff and stormwater flushed into it. What can we do as an individual to ensure that we fix the problem of water overconsumption? One way to fix the problem of overconsumption of water is to change the way we water the garden. For instance, more than 50% of the water that we apply to the garden either evaporates or runs off due to overwatering. One way to fix that is to water early in the morning after the dew has dried. Another way we conserve water is by altering the way we wash a car. For instance, instead of using a hose, we can use a bucket, which can save 300 liters. And if you don't want to wash the car yourself, you can go to a car wash. Just to ensure that it recycles its water. Another solution to limit how much water we use is to fix leaky taps immediately. For instance, 1 drop per second can waste 10,000 liters of water a year. 30% of water used for domestic uses is used by a toilet. So, invest in a dual flush toilet. This will not only help the environment, but your wallet by cutting back on hydro. Fun facts about Canada's water. We're ranked 15 out of 16 peer countries and got a sea level grade. Canada's water withdrawal are nearly double of those 16 countries. And we use most water for industrial uses. Thanks for watching OverConsumption. I'm your host, Lan Gardner. Be sure to tune in next week when we discuss the topic of food.
Overconsumption. I'm your host, Jessica Berduelli, and on today's episode, we will be talking about the overconsumption of food. To begin, overconsumption of food wastes money and creates more pollution for the environment. The average family of 4 wastes about 20 pounds of food, which is approximately $2,275 a year. Due to overbuying, more food reside in landfills and incinerators than any other material. Everyone in developed countries are affected by overconsumption or consuming more than what they need on food. People just buy when they should save on social implications. Overconsumption is a cause of obesity, and it also decreases people's happiness. Overconsumption increases businesses for food corporations and/or companies, but it causes people to spend more than they have to, which may lead to bankruptcy or lead them to major debts as well. The environmental issues of overconsumption are the endless food choices for very little effort and the new global machines. Also, energy used in food production is wasteful in itself. and consumption affects the climate change due to pollution. The causes of the overconsumption of food is that as the population of the world grows, more food and resources will be needed to support this large group of consumers. Today, many people tend to buy things that are not necessary. One main example of this would be food. The solution to all the problem of overconsumption of food would be to buy less food. Consume what you need and do not overbuy. It will save you money and will help the environment. Thanks for tuning in to Overconsumption. Be sure to watch our next episode on the overconsumption of oil.
Thanks, Jessica. On today's episode, we will be discussing the overconsumption of oil.
Here we are at a gas station where many Canadians find themselves every day dependent on oil ever since the Industrial Revolution. The overconsumption of oil affects us by negatively affecting our environment and health. Our appetite for fuel has grown since the industrial boom. This has resulted in the damage of land. Every time oil or coal has to be transported, a field is deforested and dug into to install pipelines or roads for transport. Clearing land destroys countless habitats, which in turn kills many animals. Our appetite for fuel has grown since the industrial boom. This has resulted in the damage of land. Every time coal or oil has to be transported, a field is deforested and dug into to install pipelines or roads for transport. Clearing land destroys countless habitats, which in turn kills many animals, causing a quick decline in animal population and an increased amount of endangered species. Finding areas to put tailings ponds often displaces fish habitats and other aquatic animals. It has also resulted in waste from industries that contaminate our water, air, and land. This includes water leaks during transportation. It has also resulted in waste from industries that contaminate our air, water, and land. In water, oil leaks during transport and also in tailings pond. The land gets scarred during the clear cutting and pipeline digging. And air, microscopic pollutants from coal refineries pollute and contaminate the air. This causes detrimental amounts of pollution that is not only harmful to us, but the animals and plants. Industries use tons of fresh water to cool off machinery used for geothermal power and oil refining. Along with destroyed ecosystems and polluted water and air, the overconsumption of fuel results in the increase of the Earth's average surface temperature. This results in devastating consequences such as acid rain and a stronger greenhouse effect, which is the concentration of gases which thin the ozone layer, resulting in more light being absorbed by the Earth and an increase in heat. This vicious cycle of thinning ozone, trapping more heat, results in glaciers melting, causing even less heat to be reflected back into the atmosphere and a greater increase in heat trapped. The health effects associated with the overconsumption of oil is also very upsetting. Landowners and residents who live near oil refineries and coal mines report health impacts much more frequently than residents living away from the fuel industries. The increased health defects are believed to be caused by the toxins that are found in the waste from factories. These reports include higher cases of asthma, respiratory and cardiovascular illnesses, autoimmune diseases, liver failure, cancer, headaches, and nausea. Something you can do about it. In fact, there's a lot of things. As long as we burn fossil fuels, the Earth's climate will continue to get warmer. The only solution is to strongly reduce our burning of coal, oil, and gas. Substituting nuclear energy for coal burning to generate electricity and the substitution of electricity for oil and gas in heating buildings and to some extent in transportation can play a huge and important role in this process. Some things that you can do are alternative transportation. Use as little fuel as you
Taking the car, you could take the bike, walk, or even rollerblade everywhere you need to go.
car. Number 2, be energy efficient. It can really be simple as turning off the light on and off. The more you reduce your energy consumption, the more you reduce what's happening in the world. Number 3, write to your local government officials. Pressure them to support other initiatives that would benefit lower consumption. Pressure them to support alternative energy methods like solar, wind, and hydro, and pressure industries to make their refineries more efficient and safer for the population. Number 4, The way that word can get out, and that's the way that you can make a difference. Back to you.